Happy Breeders' Cup Saturday, Keith, of course. Yesterday, nice races all around it. Just fun races over in Del Mar yesterday.
Yeah, good day. I mean, we were right around that exact in the juvenile. You gave out 1-6. I like the 7. You box them. You got
there we
yourself
go.
a $142
Absolutely.
exacta. Easy ball game, isn't it? But no, some very good races. I saw that last race, crazy, the horse getting in tight, and the jock almost kind of came off. Man, what a great recovery by horse and rider in that one. But all in all, a good day. Yeah, we were around it. I liked the card yesterday out there at Del Mar, maybe a little bit better from a betting perspective than today's card. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But, yeah, we didn't have anything really blowing things up yesterday at Laurel. Maybe today is a different story as we've got 11 races on tap today.
Track is fast. Turf is firm, of course. A bit warmer than I expected. I expected it to be a bit cooler than what we've got going on, which is great news. So we have a fun card of racing that we've got going on here for Saturday. Let's kick right into it, shall we? Let's go in that first leg of that early pick 5 low industry takeout. And this restricted allowance going 5.5 on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up scratches in the 5, 6, and 8. You go, and those, I believe those were all MTOs. You go with the number 7, and let's take a look at Katie's Notion in the Maryland Million Turf Sprint last time out. Victor Carrasco gets today.
Yeah, and you've got a situation here where Katie's Notion is a horse, to me, just looks to be on the improve. Only won 3 races, a couple of these, maybe look like they have a little bit more established and consistent turf form, but I like the way that this horse is moving. Finishes up the last 1/8 of a mile quite well. Only gets beat, too, when it's all said and done. Maserati making all the pace in the Maryland Million Turf Sprint, but watch this late, a good run outside of Had to Have Him. Okay, these are 2 other than kind of horses that he's running against. Now into the state bred first level allowance. Katie's Notion, there's speed in here. I believe Jolly Boss is very quick. I think you're going to see a horse by Watch Out World going to go ahead and go. I think the pace will be honest. If this one just kind of keeps an upward trend, we got Forest Boys, good turf rider filling in for Carrasco. Hope he feels better. Work again. That trip from off the pace, we'll be able to save ground and then finish late.
7-3-1-9 for Keith Fusel there in race number 1. We got a lot to go through,
yeah,
but
we're
any
roll
particular
through
highlight of horses here?
No. I mean, the one must be love. Your top selection got back to the turf last time, was really gunned hard to get the lead going long. I don't think he's quite got the sprint speed as the horse to his outside. Jolly Boss, if he clears Jolly Boss, go a long way. And Watch Out World. But in the past, he's shown the ability to make that run from just off the pace, going short on the dirt. So I think it's a versatile sort, your top selection.
Let's go ahead to race number 2. That kicks off that early pick 4. You, Keith, you've got a treat later for us on the card here today. But it does start, the first leg starts in this claiming 20,000 for the girls 3 and up, which have never won 3, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Scratch in the 3 Naughty Nan. You go with the Rail Horse Hot Dance. Kieran McGee, Jamie Rodriguez team up.
This reminds me of the race yesterday that we got Gorham home, and I look at it, and I don't have a true feel. But Hot Dance, going back and watching the rerun last time, did not have the easiest of trips. You see the short comment, bobble start inside steady quarter, tried to ramp it up around the turn, had to tap the brakes. But I liked after recovery, I know beaten 10. She showed willingness. So Kieran McGee and Helen Marshall team up. They can maybe have the best of both worlds, as we like to say sometimes. Speed would love to eat. Go. Just go ahead and go, because I think she's the speed of the speed, and Hot Dance to make that run from off the pace with J-Rod save ground and make a steady run into it. I don't have a lot to offer here. I know your top selection Conquest Dancer comes out of that race, the October 17th race, as did Hot Dance and Love to Eat. Had good position. Just didn't quite kick on. Maybe the overland trip took a little bit out of her. Her back numbers certainly work. They're imposing the 69, 66. You see in their 68. She brings any of those races, she can beat this field. But one of the Kierans for me, Unkept Secrets, a little bit of a stranger coming in from California, and might get a good setup.
I'll discuss them in the afternoon. 1-5-6-2 for Keith Fusel there in race number 2. We're back on the turf here for race number 3 in this claiming 20,000. Stays at that same purse for the girls 3 and up, which have never won 2, going 5.5 here. Second wire finish. Scratches in the 5, 8, 15, and 16. You go with the 13 on top. White Heat for Alex White with Caramanos on top here for Tony Aguirre. Not TJ, but Tony Aguirre.
Yeah, Tony Aguirre, White Heat. Third time in the barn. Has speed, got all discombobulated, was down to the inside vying, took back, then was a little rank when trying to be rated back, but stayed on, made another little run, 3/16 to 8th before fading, and then protected late. Hence, beaten 6. Could have been a little bit closer. We're going to save a little bit. She's the speed of the speed. I'm taking a flyer here at a big, big number. Go ahead, go clear. I think we're going to get a thrill at least till mid-stretch. We'll see if we can take it home from there. But I think the logical horse is Rise Smile. This is a horse that encountered some troubles in some turf sprints last time out. No real trouble except that left lead. Video spotlight on the 17th of October, just patiently handled off of a contested pace into the stretch. Is going to swing out. I expected just a little bit more. If she can kind of get on that correct lead, maybe she'll sustain a little bit better, finish a little stronger. No real excuses. Look at this. Got to win, right?
Right.
You got to win.
Right.
You can't do it. Coracle took the inside trip, got it done. Nonetheless, her figures work for me, and there's some questionable types. And there's a lot of trouble trips going back. Fondry's another one, I think. You've got into the mix, I think was willing enough underneath at an okay number. 13-3-3-13. I've got the speed. I've got the main closer. Sweet Summer Love's got a time to run just right. This horse has ability, likes to try, but 5.5 just might be stretching it for that one. Afterneath will be used as well because she comes out of a key race.
Absolutely. Okay. 13-3-6-4 for Keith Fustel there with a value play on top. Race number 4 is a claiming 7,500 going a mile on the dirt. Second wire finish for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratching the 5, eye on the candy. You go with the number 7 in Southern District on the outside here for Donnie Barr, Angel Cruz.
Yeah, if he brings a B-plus effort, that's the question mark. But you know what he's done? He's had this 64-day layoff, one, and that was off of a voided claim. Last time out, voided claim at Timonium. We've got 63 days off.
Yeah.
Tax, and, the one-turn mile certainly works. The speed's going to be Helms Deep, taking a shot at another number that might go ahead and just kind of switch things up a little bit. Been buried the last two, but I've seen on occasion Helms Deep get a little bit brave on the lead, so why not? But I think Southern District gets the first run on some of those other chasers like Formal Order or grinders, I should call them, in gambling. So I don't know what happened to Oliferous last time. I expected a little bit better. Just didn't quite kick on. Interesting back here for the tag down to 7,500. But Southern District, another race I'm not in love with. But man, if you want a little thrill, again, Helms Deep is kind of like that 13 in the race prior.
Well, I wanted to mention another speedster that Rudy Sanchez Solomon has in Please Marry Me that also has been buried recently on the front end. Dug on extremely well yesterday. So it could be just, kind of following a little bit of a barn trend in that direction. 7-3, 4-2 for Keith Fustel there in race at number 4. We're going to go ahead to race number 5 here on the turf, 5.5. Second wire finish for these girls. 3 and up in this restricted allowance. No scratches here. Keith, you go with the number 2, Spiteful Sis. I love this. Ronaldo Richards, Derico Robles. Honorable runs when coming over here at Laurel.
Yeah, that was a really good run, I thought, in the stake a couple races back, right? This was the Jamila Alabrave, who's came back to win, had position, lost the whip. Didn't quite kick on 5.5. I think is perfect. I think she's another one. She's got that running style. She can stay out of trouble, and she can bring a little finish, especially at this level. I think you're going to see it. Tuisette is very quick, as is Bondiva. Robles, just got to be a little patient. Just go ahead and track that speed. Get the first run on any of the closers, who I think is going to be Chickahominy off a little bit of a break, and Shine on Moon. We got video spotlight of the 9, Shine on Moon. This is going back. We went back to July, right? July 7th.
Yes.
Against Visby. This is the last time this one went 5.5 on the turf. 13-1. We like this one this day, and man, just misses right here. Mid-stretch, has to alter off heels. A little bit of time to get straightened. It does get corrected. Visby just a little too good, but a lot of grit for Shine on Moon, coming back to what to me looks like possibly a preferable surface. She's run okay on both, but I like her with a little setup from off the pace for Cal Lynch and J-Rod. We know that percentage jockey trainer, it's huge.
Yeah, absolutely, with that outside post. 2-4-9-5 for Keith Fustel in race number 5. Let's go ahead to race number 6. In this not only do we have the jackpot, first of all, that carryover is 15%, and that's horses 1 through 5, a carryover of 7,706. That's going to click up to $8,000 by the time we get to that race. And that also starts the Rainbow Pick 6. And not much of a carryover.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a look at my ticket and go. I ended up coming up with 2 singles, and I might change that a little bit for the afternoon, just with a late scratch that I had in race number 6. I did go too deep there. If you're going to add any more, definitely add more in race number 11. There's a lot to offer there. I was just, with the way my ticket was structuring, I just had to try and find a single somewhere. So I might adjust that a little bit more in the afternoon. But race number 7, you also can add a little bit more here. Interesting races in race number 9 and 10. Very, very competitive. Witty returning back on the dirt in a dirt sprint. We'll get to that race in race 10 in a second. But let's go ahead and dive into this first leg of that Rainbow Pick 6 and a claiming 12-5 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2. Going 5.5 here on the dirt. Scratches in the 6 and the 7. You and I both go with the number 2, Brudder for Robbie Bales, Dennis Arujo. This one, obviously when Dennis can improve a horse, and this is kind of a little bit of proof right here.
I mean, ramped back to shape after a little bit of a layoff from May to August. But the key, 5.5, a little shorter run into the turn. He was outside, 3 deep, pressed, a little bit of a fade late, kind of willing. I thought was, enough to stay clear of the third horse by over 4 lengths. Little Skippy, that winner, came back and ran well on the raise. Yes, Super Needy has some speed, but I don't think he's quite got the speed of Brudder. But maybe if he gets anxious and goes ahead and go the 3, the 2, I still think at this level in this spot can sit just off of it and get the jump on any closers. Brudder's going to be tough moving down inside today for Robbie Bales. Yes.
No, absolutely. The number 5 underneath K-Storm Ready. You include that as well. And then Minimo. Minimo is kind of interesting for Machado and Lopez. Just coming first time against winners. See what we can get from that effort going on. 2-1-5-4 for Keith Diestel there in race number 6. That kicks off the Jackpot Super High 5 and the Rainbow Pick 6. And we'll be right back after this commercial break to discuss the rest of the card. And we are back here in race number 7 that kicks off the late pick 5. And of course, we've got a little, that 12% takeout here. It starts in this allowance optional 40, going 1.125 miles on the turf here. Keith, you and I both go with the number 8 and the 11 in both our top selection and our exacta. Switch those around numbers for me, please, guys. And let's go ahead and take a look at that effort in what they were last together back on the 13th of October, just a post-Maryland Million Day here.
And Fierce and Strong, really good. 9 starts on the turf, 5 wins, 4 seconds. Unfortunately, a little issue out of the gate. Hesitated a little bit and then had to, work out a tough trip, I thought, from off the pace. But being caught 4 wide didn't help things at all. You're going to see this 5-horse kind of a little bit rank in between horses as well. The 8-horse is won award this day, and won an award also got in some trouble. And so did St. John's. We're going to pick that one up at the top of the stretch. But all in all, Fierce and Strong goes ahead, is going to make this charge outside, won an award, a little bit of a jump.
Right.
St. John's had that little hiccup upper stretch and just kind of makes this little run too. And then right back here, 16th pole, and a little tight. So really, really tough to separate. What is it? All in all, a length and a half maybe when you break it all down between the 3 of them.
Right.
I just think Fierce and Strong just wasn't quite tied on that day. A little bit better break. Looking at the flow of this race, a good break. This guy's forward.
Right.
He can stay the trip even at 1.125 miles. You saw that photo. Very tough to split. St. John's kind of moves outside. So let's see if that really hampers him. But, Forrest is such a good judge of pace and will draft back if need be and work out a trip from off.
Absolutely. Discussing the number 10, you mentioned won an award. Talk about the number 3 that you have underneath in Ruddy Buddy, because I fought with this horse on and off of my ticket for Robert Wernuth, Mario Fuentes, just showing up last time out really nicely.
I was just looking for a number here. It was 97-1, but that was the first time on this turf course and ran okay at 1 mile and a 16th, was steadily gaining. You got that extra 16th of a mile today. Why not? If you're going to look for some kind of number that can enhance that try and superfecta, that would be the one for me, old Ruddy Buddy.
There we go.
Get a Nutty Buddy after he scores. Could get yourself a Nutty
Exactly.
Buddy. There you go.
Exactly. 8, 11, 10, 3 for Keith Fusel there in race number 7. Race number 8 starts at the late pick 4 in a starter optional claiming 30,000, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the girls 3 and up. Scratching the 1 Berzina. You go with the 1A as I do. Our Liberty Bell, Jamie Ness,
Yeah.
Jamie Rodriguez. Let's take a look in that last win at this level going back on the 5th of October.
Claiming a little freshening. Boy, has really done her some good. Now, our Liberty Bell got hot over this track last year, fizzled a little bit, but she's back now. And I think, the try to mile was good, but sprinting might even be her best game, somewhere between 6 and 7 furlongs. So she's going to go ahead. She was up into it and makes that move a little bit closer to this particular day. She hadn't shown that willingness early in her races, but she's got it now. So I think she's at the top of her game. There's enough speed that this pace should be fairly contested, but she can lay close enough. Look at her powering away from this group by 4 and some change. Almost got it done in a mile, turning back in distance. Ness Barn rolling right along right now. I like our Liberty Bell. She's going to be an awfully, awfully short price. Looks like she should be 1-2 in here.
And I really like that you have Royal Whisper underneath. Michael Gorham, Raul Mena. This one is looking for a comeback, but I can absolutely see if she does end up making that comeback off the layoff.
A break might have done her some good, and you just look. She's shown versatility in the past. I don't think she's as quick as Blazon. I don't think she wants to get caught up with that sultry Sally H, Royal Seamstress, who's fast. But Royal Whisper has races on the go back where she's closed 3-4 lengths of that final 1/4 of a mile. She's fresh. She's got a rider that knows her, and she is, 10 for 12 in the money at Laurel. So percentages are in your favor, and looking for, because the 1A is going to be an awfully short price. If you want something that's going to enhance the payout, it's Royal Whisper. Michael Gorham with a win yesterday, and I think anonymously is going to sit a good trip too. I like the way this rider got this horse in position last time. I think he's going to be able to draft down a little bit today, not lose as much ground. And she's tough. Look at her at the distance. She's super strong for Corrales.
You make an excellent point. Anytime Chavez rides her, she shows up there. So 1A, 3-7-4 there for Keith Fusel in race number 8. We go to race number 9, back on the turf here in this allowance optional 55 here, going 5.5. Second wire finish for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratching the number 3 Golden G. You have the number 5 on top. Had to have him. Also starts your late pick 3, of course.
Yeah, very economical. $8. We're getting a little bit light. We need to hit the ATM machine. But we did okay yesterday, and we did okay Breeders' Cup. So we're going to be throwing some coin at them today. 5-6 to get you started. Race 9. You can play this for $1, $3, whatever you like. 2 deep here. Had to have him. Great idea. It's a really good race. Maya Prince going to be a shorter price. 4 Heart, dangerous on the front, but I'm going to settle it down for one of these two just off the pace. Race 10, Callie, 2 and 5. Tenebrae, 92 line. Witty. See if the blinkers kind of get this guy back on his game, because when he's right, he can roll. Little question marks right now with his recent form. And then race 11, 1A, 4-5-7. The 4 a 20-1 morning line, but I'll talk about that one a little bit in race 11. It's an $8 ticket again. You might be able to punch it a couple times if you like.
Nope, I really like that. That's a really well structured for these particular races. Okay. I love that. Talking about the number 5, I love how you have this one in your top selection with the confidence of had to have him for John Salzman Sr. with Tori Alba. Really nice showing in the Maryland Million Turf Sprint. Really nice showing.
We saw in that video closing wide, and the other horse that we have earlier closing even further out, but had to have him. Had some issues in that race. Great idea. Might have had a little bit better trip. We're back with Tori Alba. No knockabout for us. She's great. But Tori Alba got the win on this one. And looking, again, how this race may set up, 4 Harp's going to go. 4 Harp's the speed of the speed coming in for Butchery. And that race always resonates with me going back to last July in the Laurel Dash. But goes to the front. Will take them a long way. But had to have him. Is showing a lot of grit and tenacity despite troubled trips. I think had to have him will get the first jump on the rest of those closers. Might be tough to wear down 4 Harp, no doubt about it, but I like the 5 here today, and as the 6 is just running race after race after race right now. He's just holding excellent form for Phil Capuano. Great idea. Again, he'll have the ability to kind of save plenty of ground around the turn and finish strong, which he has been doing lately. Video spotlight on the 8, Maya Prince. Yeah, I mean, how do you knock this horse? Back on Lasix after a couple tough tries in Stakes Company. Didn't embarrass itself at all. 2 races back. This is going back to the 22nd of August. 3 back, beating a 2 other than group. Now, this might not been as strong as group as today, right? But this horse does it well. Weighted upper stretch, angles out a little bit, and wins with something left. Going away with an 89 buyer. I think some of these buyers have been a little bit inflated to Colonial. That's just kind of the way I've noticed things. But a comfortable, workman, like easy kind of a win for Maya Prince right there. So he's going to bring some trouble. Maybe the value still holds in the 5, in the 6.
Nope, I love that. 5, 6, 4, 8. In race number 9 for Keith Fusel, their race number 10, our feature race of the day on the dirt at least, is his allowance optional 55 on the dirt going 3/4 of a mile. No scratches here. Let's talk about Tenebris. Bruno Testori, Gene Brusino coming back to the dirt here today.
When he's right, he's really fast. He's posted some big numbers. You see a 96 buyer figure 3 races back and 93 before that. Complete no-go on the turf last time.
Right.
Okay, but second off of a freshening. Again, when this guy's right, look at who he's run with. 3s over deuces, post time. He's run against Golden County Judge and Jury, the right kind of horses. Speedo is outside. Nardin's lucky to be. He can go ahead and go. Bouncer, yes. Bick, we'll see what he can do today on a fast track. He blitzed that field last time out. But Tenebris went right. Reunited with Brusino. Let's get into the action early. And I think he's got a jump kind of a move to get past that early speed, open up. And Whitty, let's look in the rearview mirror because Whitty went right. We'll be closing.
Right.
They're going to switch things up. You got J-Rod back. We got J-Rod on. We've got blinkers back on. He's a legitimate closer. 2-5-4 for me. Patinga's twin. Video spotlight. Anything else you want to mention about Whitty?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention with Whitty. So with Whitty running at Kentucky Downs, I watched a lot of other horses the race after they ran at Kentucky Downs, and a lot of it takes that turf can take a lot out of them. So I'm not particularly surprised that Whitty bounced in the Maryland Million Turf Sprint. So we go, and I mean Lizzie did the same thing last year. Just ran him once on the dirt, ended up putting him on the shelf, blinkers on, just trying to get a positive result. I think out of this, I really think it's going to go in the right direction. So I like the faith in him and your exacta.
All right.
Let's go ahead. Let's talk about your number 4, Patinga's twin.
Your top selection, Patinga's twin, running pretty much nothing but good. A little hiccup there up at Charlestown, but prior to that, some really impressive wins. I think the 10th of October inside, and the speed might have been a little bit of a lean, and Patinga's twin does take advantage. But this 3-year-old just seems to be good. I mean, you're looking at him, you're trying to find, you're questioning a little bit maybe of who he beats. Maybe the rubber meets the road today against this group in a 3 other than. But he did not embarrass himself one bit. Really game chase. No easy days. There's no slouch behind him. Yeah, working out a trip with Boca Chica for Farrier. 2-5-4-3 and a really nice allowance sprint for you today on Saturday.
It is. That's going to be a lovely showing later on in race number 10. Let's go to the finale here. Back on the turf here, going long this time, 1 mile and 16th for the girls 3 and up, claiming 30, never win 2, scratching the coupled entry from Hello. The number 8, Ain't No Lady. You go with the number 7 on top, and this is going to be Venomous Vixen. I like this interesting choice here. Brittany Russell blinkers off. Jamie Rodriguez gets on, and we get this one back to the turf.
Allowance to claiming. Dirt, yeah, real good. Turf, not as strong of late. I mean, only 2 for 15, 4 for 15 in the money. But the race, going back 3 races, the first off the shelf, behind Active, Ragtime Lady, doesn't hurt the flirt. 5th place finisher came back and has run well, Determined Princess. I think just this little shakeup in the equipment, a little tweak, he's come back and looks to be working forwardly into this race. There's not a lot to hang your hat on in here, but Venomous Vixen, you got J-Rod.
Yeah.
Okay, might be a shorter price, but I'll trust in Brittany. River Taste, similar situation, doesn't have a slew of early speed, but, an overland trip at Aqueduct is going to kind of set this one up against this group. A touch and class drop. Reflexivity is pretty good, but closed in. That was a little too short 2 races back. But these are the 2 to kind of key around. If you're looking for that get-out horse, it's the 4. It's Blonde Samaritan at 20-1 morning line. We've got Mena, yes, 1 for 24, but been in the wrong spots. Maybe this is the wake-up call. Maybe they've just been asking way too much, and she won't fire today. But I just kind of see that race back in late July against Precious Avery. who just missed in the Maryland Million Ladies with an 88 in that field, was Downtown Katie, who's like an allowance type.
Right.
So you're looking for that horse that maybe shake things up in race 11. That would be the one for me. 7, 1, 8, 4, and 5. We're kind of all over the map here.
We are. Yeah.
Channel Loop. Sell me on Channel Loop real quick.
Sell you on Channel Loop.
Okay.
Mike, okay, it's just the fact that this one, I think the fact that this one has been knocking on the door prior to that first win, and I think just kind of needed that off track, the sloppy track. Sometimes that happens with horses where they get that new surface and it really kind of gives them that little bit of a push. I think this one, with the previous form prior to that win, has the confidence to come back swinging.
Yep.
This one, first time against winners. I know it's a tough go, but that's where I say, hey, this one might be okay mentality-wise to kind of come back and batter up. So that's my sell on Channel Loop.
All right.
Let's talk about a couple of your sells, though. Let's talk about your sells on your value plays here that we discussed. We touched over earlier, but let's start in race number 3. 20-1 on White Heat for Tony Aguirre and Horacio Caramanos.
Yeah, just went back and watched the video again, and you know, when you just kind of you can glaze over this horse. But she's got some back numbers that certainly work against this group. She's got a good turn of foot, and I think she'll be able to clear this field. She just got off of her game. Designer was just a little too quick. She wasn't comfortable to the inside. Once the jock tried to take her back, she was ranked. She was fighting that, but then she regrouped and made another little sneaky run, upper stretch to 8th, and then just faded. Goes today, and I think if she clears, she's there at least to the 8th pole, 16th pole, and last 16th of a mile, it's up in the air.
There we go. Well, hey, that's what makes the 20-1 so fun.
Yes.
Let's talk about race number 10, the number 2 Tenebris. 9-2 on the morning line, but I think this one is going to be coming up a little bit as far as price goes. Bruno Testori, Gene Brasino here back on the dirt.
He's fired some big figures against, I think, Woody's running against some really strong horses, but even some horses that fit this level or maybe even a little bit better. I just think Arden's looking to be, he's going to go out. But Tenebrae, if he's aggressively ridden, he'll get position into the turn. And I think if he's ramped up, they hold him here, they don't drop, I think he'll be tough.
Keith, let's, of course, we gave some picks we gave some pretty good picks yesterday for the juvenile dirt. You also brought vodka with a twist.
Vodka with a twist ran real big, got bet down a little bit like I kind of thought she would. The filly on the turf, now the name's Thought Process. I think she just that was a race. I was in the car. I was getting my man actually Andy gave me the call over over the phone. But she seems like she went out there too quick and just fizzled. I wouldn't give up on her down the road. And again, that winner's really good, the O'Brien runner. But all in all, I think we were around the door. We were knocking on the door most of those races, and that was a really good exact at combining the two Bafferts.
Two Bafferts. Yeah, love it. The Breeders' Cup Classic, you go with Forever Young on the inside. A nice, lovely 6-1 here. And I extremely respect this horse. I'm glad you go with this one.
Yeah, and this race, remember, this is race 8 on the card. They kind of changed things up on the structure of the races for the Breeders' Cup Saturday. But Forever Young, I still think he's kind of going to need to make one more step. And I think now is the time where he can do that. All the reports that he was looking good, schooling fine. He can stay this distance, and he's got fight. That effort in the Derby was really good. Had all kinds of trouble and just kept on with a lot of heart. It's going to be a weird pace scenario. You just don't really know how this race is going to set up. I can see Arthur's Ride just gunning, right? Just going hell bent to get the lead, and you've got a horse like Next who's interesting, been running the marathons, coming from off the pace. But Forever Young, showing that kind of maybe improved foot. I watched the race in the return over there in Japan and didn't get away the best, but recovered in a big field and didn't have the easiest of trips. Was surrounded by horses a long way. I call that the death trip in between.
Oh, I love that.
And he survived it, and he kept on chugging along. So he gets positioned through the first half of a mile. I think he stays the trip and is going to be a player here in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Super interesting too. The last work that he did, and that was over the Del Mar racetrack. They put him with the Japan Juvie Rabbit up front, and they had him work up the rail past the juvenile, and he looked fantastic.
Okay,
So he's
good.
gonna,
Good to
it
hear.
just he is a very flourishing gallop out as well. So I like the work,
Okay.
definitely. Just wanted to touch on my pick really
Okay.
quick. Newgate is my top
That's
selection here at a price of 20 to 1 with the blinkers on. Excuse me. So I was in the paddock with Baffert when they were paddock schooling these horses before California Crown, and Newgate. So excuse me. The top horse for Baffert ended up National Treasure looked fantastic, but Newgate caught my attention first. And speaking with Baffert, he said, "I won't be surprised if this horse jumps up and wins it." And of course, we get a really nice showing there in the California Crown. Looking at his work, he worked with a great, grade 2 trier who's, that was a really nice workhorse that he matched up with. Just rider was just sitting there, feet on the dashboard. The gallop out, he kind of pulled him up really quickly, but the gallop out in the 6 jumps where the rider just needed a break for his hands, really, really nice. So I have fallen in love with this horse a little bit.
I've got 2 horses circled. You see me going back and forth on
Let's
my pages.
go.
I got Forever Young, and I got Newgate.
Okay.
They're the 2 I'm going to use, top and bottom, in exactas,
Yep.
and play them both a little bit flat. Could you imagine Dettori at that kind of number getting it done?
Exactly.
But I glanced at some other things. The blinker's going, interesting move here. And his last, I think it was a third graph number, some guys that were talking about it. I mean, he pairs that up. Watch out. That's all I can tell you.
Well, on top of that, you go back and he has done well over the Del Mar turf course in the Bob Hope, and he was a completely different animal then. So going to be super interesting. Keith, talk about a couple of races though. You looked over the card. You've got a couple of picks. Let's see what you got for us.
We gave you one that got crushed from 6-1 to 6-5. We knew that horse was going to be nowhere near that morning line.
Right.
The Twirling Candy horse on the turf. It was life and death. Didn't switch leads, but got it done.
Yeah.
Early. I'm going to steal one from my man. First race at Del Mar, the 1 and 7 as price users. Spycatcher Invigorate. You got a 15-1 and a 12-1. I would use those 2 a little bit. Flat bets in top and bottom and some exactas. We've got, let's see, hold on. Bear with me.
Yeah.
Motorious, race 5, Cogburn. You talked about
Yes.
maybe coming off of the Kentucky down surface. How will that
But
affect
he
Cogburn?
was-
He's going to be so short. But
he's so impressive.
oh, yeah, Motorious, 3 for 3 at Del Mar. Enough said. Was favored in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint last year. Got in position, got in a little traffic, steadied again, and kept on. This horse at this track, maybe he just can't beat Cogburn, but I will be using him at an 8-1 morning line, no doubt.
What about Howard Wolowitz?
I didn't look at that one at all. Really, I just kind of glanced at it and kept going. But Motorious is my horse there. Race 6.
Okay. Yeah, race 6.
Breeders' Cup Distaff. Obviously, you got Torpedo
Yep.
If you're looking for value, I would go 1 Candied. 6 Raging Sea, I'm going to use the 9. Reports are awesome result. I think this horse could run really big.
Okay.
The Japanese filly. That's the turf, Breeders' Cup Turf, race 7.
Yes.
JRB. I'll be keying around that one, the 5 and the 3. Sharyar, I'll look at those 2 at a price. Rebels Romance, I'm a big fan of. I got to be rooting for him.
Yeah.
Forever Young, we talked about.
Yep.
Newgate, 9th race. I don't have anything really. The sprint's interesting, man. How fast are they going to be going? 21-1, 43 and change. Nakatomi, I think, can just slide into a spot around the turn. If you can avoid being, jammed up into the turn, finds that seam around the turn, I think he can make a run. They're going to be flying. Mulligan's an interesting horse in there, too. He looks really, really good. Notable speech for Appleby, I like. And to wrap it up, don't think Post Town can't be right there.
That's right.
Yes, he certainly works against that group. Let's hope Sheldon can work out a trip.
Saving the best for last. Of course, post time in the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile there in the last race. Post time on the Pacific time is 5:25, so that's going to be about 8:30 our time. But it looks he's got some speed. Of course, Seize the Gray is going to be a horse that he talks about. But I love, of course, that this horse is running straight from Laurel on a confidence booster, straight to the Breeders' Cup Grade 1. And best of luck to all those connections. Of course, the Russells and Miss Ellen Charles. Farrier is over there being a part of the support system. So we're all going to be supporting. Of course, that Breeders' Cup watch party is going to be starting probably about our 6th race when they start kicking off with things. So we'll go to Dave Rodman. Keith, thanks for all your selections and your information. But we're going to go to Dave Rodman for some more changes and selections here for the lovely Laurel Lawn.
Okay, good luck.